Hello people, I'm TheRealComicBookGamer. Today I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite comics from 2019. I've been doing this for the past couple years where I just go through and I talk about some of my favorite comics for the year at the end of the year. So this isn't like a top 5 or top 10 list or something right now like that. This isn't just me going through and talking about each one of my favorite comics of the year. This is like different categories. So like I've been doing for the past couple years, it's sort of like an award show, I guess, or like the Oscars or something where they'd just be like, oh, best this and best that, like, a varied thing instead of just like an arbitrary list of here's my top 10. Those are fun too. In fact, I did one with Thinking Critical, with Wes from Thinking Critical. We did a top 5 DC Comics for 2019 list. I'll have that link in the description if you want to check that out. But this is more varied than that. We're going to be going into different topics like I've been doing for the past couple years. So spoilers, if you hear me bring up a book and you haven't read it yet and you're about to and you're worried about spoilers, there's your warning. I'll probably spoil it. I'm not going to be going super in depth with any of these books, but I might mention a spoiler or something, so there's your warning. Anyways, without further ado, let's get into it, with the first category being best trade of the year. And I didn't read a whole lot of new trades, but my favorite one that I did read was Daredevil No Fear from Chip Zdarsky and Marco Cicchetto. Really good series. I chose to read it in trade because I picked up the first issue and it came out. I was like, this is really good. This is going to be one of those series that I read in trade, because there are some series where I don't need to keep up with them. I don't need to know every month what's going on and be like, okay, I have to read it. I have to be on the up and up of what's going on. There's some just really good, solid books. It's like, okay, I know I'll enjoy this when I read it in trade instead, so I'll just wait for that. I did that with Batman White Knight. I'm doing it for the sequel. I'm doing it with Daredevil. I waited for the trade. I read it. It's really good. And Marco Cicchetto is a killer on the pencils. He is so freaking good, like amazing. I love his work. I wish he could do more, because like, man, when he's off the pencils, the work is still good. Generally speaking, the artists they get to fill in for him still do a good job, but man, he's just so next level that, man, I would love to see more of him, and he does a great job with Daredevil. And this story is really cool. It's sort of, the premise of it is Daredevil comes back after, I believe, everything that happened in Charles Soule's run, where like Daredevil sort of died, and he's back now, and he's not on his A game. He accidentally kills a guy when he's breaking up just like a routine thing for Daredevil, just stopping a crime, and then he accidentally kills a guy, and at first he thinks he's like set up or something by Kingpin or whatever, and then it slowly dawns on him, like, no, I just made a mistake. And so that's a really cool conflict to see Daredevil deal with, and something that very few other characters would really fit in this type of story, and it's a perfect type of story for Daredevil, and it's really good. And I really enjoyed the first volume, and the second volume just came out earlier in December, so I'm excited to check that out as well. But that's my favorite trade of 2019 that I read. And now next up is best limited series. So this is obviously either a mini series or a maxi series, and for me that's pretty easy. That's Doomsday Clock. Doomsday Clock wrapped up this year. It's been, what has it been, 2-3 years? I don't remember how long. It's been a long time. It has been amazing, though. I've enjoyed this ride. It's been worth the wait. It sucks that you had to wait so long to finish it, but man, it's an amazing series. Jeff Johns and Gary Frank deliver on all fronts. The wrap-up is amazing. I would say from issue 8 onwards is where everything really picks up. Like, prior to that, it's really good as well, but issue 8 onwards is where everything like really kind of ramps up and gets really, 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 really next level amazing. And Doomsday Clock delivered. There was so much hype behind this, and so much like, okay, with all these delays, you have to live up to the expectations, because if you don't, no one's going to remember Doomsday Clock. It took so long, but each issue after issue, it had consistent sales. Everyone was coming back. Everyone was excited. It's good. It gave us a Watchmen sequel. Who else other than Jeff Johns could give us an actual good Watchmen sequel with Doomsday Clock characters? And I mean, not Doomsday Clock characters, DC Comics characters. Out of it right there, but yeah, it's an amazing series, and if you have not read it, definitely get all the issues or wait for the next trade and get both those trades and check it out. It is well worth your time, and you'll not be disappointed. And then next up, we have best ongoing series, which for me is Gideon Falls. I really enjoyed Gideon Falls. It was hard for me for the best ongoing series. It was between Gideon Falls or Detective Comics, because Tomasi has been killing it on Detective Comics. I really enjoyed it, but in the end I had to go with Gideon Falls. It's the only indie book I'm reading. It's from Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino. This is the same creative team that I first found with Green Arrow, and I loved what they did with that, and then they did some great stuff with Old Man Logan, and now they're on to Gideon Falls, and they just keep killing it. I'll buy pretty much anything this creative team works on. Like, just put them on a book and I'll buy it. These guys are great together, and Gideon Falls is just an horror indie comic that's kind of hard to explain. A lot of stuff revolves around this black barn, and it's very trippy, and the art is amazing, and Jeff Lemire has done a great job of writing this series in a way to where he doesn't talk you to death. It's to where he lets the art do a lot of the explaining, to where you just kind of look at it. Like, he sets it up to where it's okay, I don't need to explain everything that's going on here. Just look at the page. Just look at this big, like, double splash page. Just look at that. And you get everything that you need from that. It's a very trippy book. Andrea Sorrentino is amazing. This is, to me, is the prettiest book, like, month after month. It is so gorgeous to look at. It just, Gideon Falls is so good. And again, it's an indie horror book. I didn't expect this to be my favorite ongoing, but it is. It's really, really good, and you should definitely check it out. It's on, I don't know, issue like 18 or 19 right now, something like that, so you can get all the issues, catch up, or get some of the trades and catch up, and reading it all at once will be a fun time. It's a really good book. And the next category is my favorite new artist. So new artist doesn't mean that, oh, they just started in comics or they're new to comics or anything like that. They could have been doing comics for years. It doesn't matter. It's as long as I just discovered them. And for me, that person this year is Brad Walker. I just discovered him this year when he came on during the Arkham Knight storyline in Detective Comics. He's filling in for Doug Mankey, who's probably my favorite artist at DC right now, and he filled in for him, and he did an amazing job. I love his Batman. My favorite part about his Batman is his eyes. What he does his eyes is great, and he just has a really cool comic booky feel to his art, and I love it, and he just kills it on every issue he's in. And generally, when someone fills in for Doug Mankey, it's like, oh, I just want Doug Mankey back. But here, it's like, no, I'm fine with this. Like, I still prefer Doug Mankey, but with Brad Walker coming in, it's like no real step down in quality. It's more like preference. But Brad Walker does an amazing job as well, so it's no real like anything that messes up the book. It's great, and just, yeah, he's a great artist, and I'm glad I found him through his Detective Comics this year. And next up is my favorite one-shot of 2019, and that's got to be Man and Superman. In fact, the book was so nice, I had to buy it twice. I bought the trade when it originally came out. It's a 100-issue page one-shot, and then the hardcover when that just came out, I believe just a couple weeks ago. I bought both because I really wanted to let DC know to support this book. This is what I love. I want more of this, so I put my money where my mouth was, and I supported this book. Again, it's from Marv Wolfman, Claudio Castellini. They do a great job. It was something that was done, in fact, in the hardcover, they go over like the story of this book. It was something that was done years ago, like before the New 52, where they sort of wanted to where they wanted a new Superman series called Superman Confidential, which actually they did with someone else, but Marv Wolfman was originally supposed to do that, but it kind of got scrapped. It sat in like an editor's drawer for a while, and then it finally got out of the woodwork here, and they were able to publish it. And man, it was an amazing series. I'm so glad it got brought back. It was originally supposed to be like a 4-issue miniseries, but they just printed it as like a 100-page one-shot, and it's very much a Clark Kent story, and I love it. Superman doesn't really appear till the end. Like, the end is kind of setting up Superman, but till then, it's all Clark Kent, and it's an amazing story. And there we have a billion Superman origins, but this one is one of the best. Marv Wolfman clearly has a love for Superman. He's talked about how Superman's his favorite comic book character, and it shows in this book. The art from Claudio is amazing, and it's just, oh my gosh, if you're a Superman fan, if you did not read this book, you need to go buy it right now. Just, if you're a Superman fan, go buy Man Superman. It is worth your money. Then my last category is going to be Best New Series. So this is a series that started in 2019, since a lot of series that I have on here are all series that started before but continued into 2019. This is a series that started in 2019. So for me, that's X-Force. X-Force just started not too long ago. We're only 4 issues in, and it's really good. Benjamin Percy has been doing a fantastic job. The art's really good. The story's interesting. I like it. It's continuing on sort of some stuff that was started with Hawks and Pox, so House of X and Powers of X, to where some of the other series I have heard have not been doing too well. I haven't read anything but X-Men and X-Force, and X-Men has not been near as good as House of X and Powers of X, but X-Force has been up to that quality, and it's been really good, and I love seeing Wolverine back in this, and it's just a great series so far. It's got me hooked in. The plot is very interesting with what's going on. What happened in that first issue with Charles Xavier was nuts, and how they sort of brought him back and like what's going on. It's just, if you're an X-Men fan, you should read it. It's really good. For me, Rick Remender is always my favorite X-Force run. I loved what he did with those characters, and seeing this new take on the X-Force is really good as well, and I'm enjoying it. It is my favorite new series of 2019. But yeah, that's it for the categories for now. I just want to do some sort of honorable mentions. So Justice League issue 25. This was the conclusion of the Sixth Dimension arc. Amazing. Has the best page of 2019 from George Jimenez. If I were to do pages, then that would be the best page of 2019, when Superman's doing that punch and he creates that giant crater by hitting the World Forger. Amazing. And the Sixth Dimension arc is one of the best Justice League arcs I've ever read. It's really good. Definitely the best from Snyder's run and well worth checking out. Also, Deceased was a really good series that I did not expect to like. The art's not that great, but the writing's really good. Props to Tom Taylor, because I'm not the biggest Tom Taylor fan, but here he did a good job. Deceased is worth checking out. What else is there? I'm trying to think of what else I wanted to do. There was The Batman Who Laughs, issue number 2. One of the best issues of the year, hands down. The overall miniseries is pretty good, but issue 2 is freaking awesome. And just read the first 2 issues of The Batman Who Laughs if you were somewhat interested in it. If you're not hooked in after reading issue 2, don't read the rest. If you are, then read the rest. But I'd say give those first 2 issues a shot, because that second issue is, woo, it's an amazing issue, one of the best issues of the year. But yeah, I guess that's it for my honorable mentions. As you can tell, I'm very much more of a DC guy right now than Marvel, but Wolverine's going to be coming out next year, and we're going to have a lot more Star Wars series I'll be checking out. So I'm definitely going to be reading more Marvel next year because of Wolverine from Benjamin Percy. And also like I said, the Star Wars series. We got a Star Wars series from Charles Soule, we got a Darth Vader series from Greg Pak, and we got a Bounty Hunter series from Ethan Sachs. I plan on reading all those, so there will be a bit more variety next year, but for this year is mainly DC. But yeah, please let me know in the comments below, what were you guys' favorite comics of 2019? I just want to hear what were you guys' favorite comics of 2019, and also I want to hear one artist or writer that you guys weren't really familiar with prior this year, but this year you grew to love. Like for me, like I said earlier, that was Brad Walker. I'd love to hear that in the comments down below. It's always cool hearing when you find new creators that you love. But yeah, thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll see you guys later.